let's quickly get into it. How did you guys start bass fishing? Felicity, I know you mentioned it's in your blood, but sort of where did it start for you guys?
Look, my dad was always, when we were younger, we lived in Joburg, so my dad was always a big carp fisherman, and he also got springbok colors for carp fishing, showed Charles and Etienne. So since we could remember, there's photos of us walking underneath the carp rods, and they put the rods really high so that we can't reach them. So then, of course, we moved to the low felt, and then, we were still very keen carp fishermen, but then we gradually got into bass fishing.
Okay, so how long have you been fishing for bass then, and possibly competitively?
Oh.
We've been fishing for bass for ages, but competitively probably about 10 years.
Okay, and I mean, yes, I've obviously got a bit of sight on what happens on national level, being part of one of the committee members. We've got people that have been fishing for 22 years and haven't even come close to what you guys have achieved this last month. So that's like, I'd love to swear, but that's flipping incredible. I mean, like I say, there's individuals out there, 22 years, they're sitting with one president's cap if they're lucky. Never mind even like winning nationals, it's mind blowing. Etienne, I know you went out and pre-fished and put a bit of effort in there. What were you thinking before you went pre-fishing? I'll give you like an example. I suppose what most bass fishermen do is we'll use Witbank as a cuck example. But if I'm fishing Witbank, in 3 weeks or so, one of the first things we obviously do is have a look at maps. And I know that John Easton's maps are quite popular within the community. So before you got to your pre-fishing, what kind of effort did you put in? What did you do? Did you do anything at all, or did you just go, I'm going to get there and I'll see how it pans out?
Look, I've got a small little network of people. So obviously some people gave me a bit of hints on where to go. And I use John Easton maps. I'm just battling at the moment with my finder, not reading them properly enough. So I use Active Captain of Garmin a lot. It's got very nice contours. So I looked onto the contours of Garmin map, and being the time that it's being close to the spawn, I was looking for little drop-offs and banks and points, so I could identify on that Garmin on the Active Captain. I could mark myself some places, and then I also went to Google Earth Pro. Then you can go back and empty the dam and look for shrub or rock, so I used that as well. Like I said, I could go through the stuff of John Easton on the TV, but I can't see the satellite and that sort of stuff, so I didn't use that much. But I must fix that because that works as well. So yeah, I did it a bit old school.
No, well, listen, sometimes that pays off. A lot of these juniors, they come up and, I think when I was a junior, we didn't have these kind of fish finders. Hey, we had like these small little things, probably as big as my iPhone. Sorry, the Hardy Dogs are also joining in. As big as my iPhone, and that was your fish finder, and all you could literally tell was basically the depth. There was no details like today. So if you give those juniors, a paper-based topographical map, they're lost. They don't even know where to start. So I'm pretty pleased to hear that you started old school and started unpacking it in that way. So you've how far of drive it is? I mean, it's 5 hours for us. What is it for you guys?
It's about 7.5 hours, about 8 hours drive from Nelspruit.
Yeah, so a pretty hectic one. So okay, cool. You drive down. You've done your prep work. Day one of pre-practice, you got to the dam. You did what?
So I went to a point that I identified and also knew of talking to people, and I went over just to scan, and I had a couple of casts. Normally when I will start this, I'll try and move a bit so that I can find spots where there is fish. I also have a 360 and a live scope on my boat, so I got most of the tools that the guys use. And on the point, I saw there was 1 or 2 fish on the live scope, so I slowed down, just threw a a fluke. I like throwing a fluke because I can fish it quite fast as a soft jerk bait. And I got a bite, and then I slowed it down, and I got another bite, another bite. I saw there was quite a bit of fish. And then I took my hummingbird and I created a map for myself. And then as I created the map, I looked on the side scan and I found deeper rocks on the outside. So I identified them. Fishing for a while, I've learned if there's quite a couple of boats around, the fish will gradually move to deeper structures. So I had an idea of those deeper structure. I marked them quite well. And on the last day of our practice, just went to see, there was a couple of boats, and I went to the deeper spot and I caught 2 fish quickly, and I saw them on the live scope. So that's what I identified. And then from there, I left the place and I went to look for similar rocky points, and I found 1 or 2 rocky points, like points coming out from the side. And I found that the fish were there on the rocky points, never trying to hammer anything, just try and get a bite. What we found is a speed craw with a ultra vibe speed craw with a small little tungsten. Didn't get up.
Unfortunately, at this point, we suffer a bit of a loss in sound and internet connection. You know, we're obviously quite far, and then dealing with load shedding and how that affects signal hits us here a bit.
I've lost you guys a little bit.
With us.
The river is quite, and then it was all the satin, either which certain types of sack. Then for me, I don't know if I'm wrong, but a lot of the guys spawn, I never finished spawning. I think still a lot of them were still pre-spawning. So I looked for those little points, but on the back. So that was telling me they were moving in and theory.
Okay, very, very interesting. So just to take it a step backwards, you guys are fishing, you know, SABAA Team Tournament Trail. Have you been fishing that for 10 years or only the last couple of years?
The first one was a day soap, and me and Felicity made the team for the first soap. So since the first one, I've fished all of them. Felicity didn't fish all of them. She wanted to, once she couldn't, the whip she couldn't fish with me, but the rest we all fished together. Yeah.
Okay, no, flip. So, and I mean, just to give everybody some insight, for eBay, certainly, I'm not sure what it is for you guys, but I'm sure it's pretty similar. You have to finish top 15 to even just get to nationals. And then once you get to nationals, this year there were 74 boats competing. And then obviously, you know, that's countrywide. So just for the people that are going to be listening in, Felicity and Etienne were competing against, what's that, 136, 138 people, of which I suppose about 30, maybe a bit more, were from KZN themselves. And you know, that's a phenomenal feat to beat someone on their own home dam and then walk away with a big trophy. So just talking to day one, you know, what time did you guys get up? What time did you get and when you get to the dam, what do you see? You know, what's the vibe like? Can you give us some insight into that?
Yeah, look, there's nothing like day one. It's incredible because I mean there's 73 boats, 146 anglers, and you know a lot of them you know from KZN and from EBAS. So and then singing the national anthem on your boat is a special moment. And you know we on day one when we sang the national anthems, we had myself and Etienne on one boat, and then our elder brother Charles just next to us, and then his son Leonard just a couple of boats down. So it's, you know, it's generations of you know, family. It was incredible. But yeah, no, we were very calm and very cool and very collective. We didn't think we had a chance to win. So we also had zero pressure on us. We don't know the SABAA rules and stuff very well. So we didn't know that we were even in the running to compete for president's colors if we do well. So we didn't have any pressure. So we basically were a wild card or the underdogs, and we had nothing to lose, apart from consistent fishing, which we've done for the last 2 years.
No,
we've tried
done very well.
Fishermen.
No, you did incredibly
That's
well. Look,
all we.
I think just for everyone that's going to be listening in, Felicity is a friend of mine. We're becoming really good friends, and I'd obviously sort of been keeping track of what they'd been doing. And I have to say, guys, that I would have put big money on you guys. Just given on the feedback that how practice went, I was like, no, you have a really bloody good chance. And not maybe to win it, but I was definitely at least the top 5 finish. Sort of hearing from, you know, the different leagues, how their practices had went. Not that you could always trust what they're saying, but you know, what we had experienced, we were there, 2 weeks before you guys went. And with the fish that you guys were coming out with, I thought, no, you guys have certainly got this one solidly under the belt. Like I say, not the win, but definitely a top 5. So I think it's phenomenal. So you fished day 1 now. You guys have obviously you guys said to me that, you know, you thought everybody was going to be on your first spot, and that didn't end up happening. So we've sung the national anthem, you know, it's time to go launch. What do you guys see? Where do you go?
Look, I saw on the point there weren't too many boats going. Most of them went left to the river. And just like I told you earlier, there were 5 boats, but they were all shallow. So I went straight to be the deepest boat. I've got a spot just away from the rocks. And then I saw 1 or 2 guys wanted to go deep, so I just moved in because I knew I'm going to catch them there. And I went to the deepest spot and I sat down on the lock spot and then saw the fish there, and then we caught them. Within, I think, 9 o'clock, we had a 9-kilo bag.
But we almost moved. We almost moved because by 8, Charles had 5 fish. So
I didn't almost move. I told him I'm not going to leave. I'm going to catch them because I saw them on the live scope, and I lost one just before that. So I said to Felicity, right when he phoned me, I'm not going to go. I'm going to catch 5 here. And within half an hour, we caught a 2-kilo, and then the next half an hour, we had 9 kilos.
Guys, I can't believe it.
And then I said to her, the people are seeing us. I'm going to stay here. And in our Thursday practice, I found some submerged trees in the river too. And there were 2 fish that took us. We didn't put any hooks. We fished a speed crow with a spring attached to it so that you don't hurt the fish when we don't pin it. And I said to her, I'm not going to go there today. I'm going to catch them on Sunday. And I stayed on the point. We probably caught about 20 fish. The idea was to not let anybody come in here, and then just to try and smash the place that they bite less the next day. So yeah, so that was our plan, and we stayed there the whole day. Just say the half an hour before cutoff, I just went to see on another point I had, and Felicity lost the fish quickly, and I said to her, leave it, let's go. And that worked out. Then I'll tell you what we did the second day.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So something I just want to unpack that you said there is, you know, for that day 1 spot, you wanted to make sure that essentially you hurt it for everyone else. So one of the other teams had reached out to me and said, you know, Yessie, it's phenomenal how some of the teams were just really able to pull together like last minute. And I've never been to a Team Tournament Trails National, so it was also very interesting before the time to sort of get Felicity's insight like on what and I think it was actually your Witbank tournament, Felicity, where you and I spoke about it, where you said, you know, day 1 it's for the individual, and then day 2, you know, you come together as a team and try and obviously pull the rest of the field up if you guys are doing really well. So that's very interesting to hear that, you know, your number 1 spot for day 1, you wanted to make sure you emptied it so nobody else would come up there. So you've done exceptionally well. I'm sure you've heard on the water, you guys are doing incredibly well. You get to weigh in day 1, you know, what's happening around you guys. Can you tell us sort of what you experienced?
Yeah, I just have to say to you on that day 1 is at 10 or 9 o'clock or so, when we had the 9-kilo bag, one of our teammates were there, but they were more shallow. So we called them a bit closer to us, not in casting distance, and helped them a bit because they weren't throwing the speed crow correctly. We found that putting a bead in between the lure and the weight, that's what triggered them, because you cast it in, you almost fish it like a jig. You stump it, and that noise attracted them, or I think made them cross. So our friends managed to bag, and our other teammate, which was my brother, we phoned him.
You have to mention it's our brother.
So we opened for him because he had a 5.5 kilo bag. And I went away and opened for him, and he caught a 3 kilo, so he upgraded his bag. So we did help one or two of our other boats, but the idea was, it doesn't help to get a guy in 3 o'clock that hasn't caught a fish. You must try and help a guy that has 4 or 5 that can do something for the team. So, after they left, I said to Felicity, if we leave now, other people's gonna come in. So we just stayed there, knowing that 10 kilos will be quite a big advantage, or hoping.
100%.
Yeah, well, at that stage we didn't know, because we were told you would need a 10 to 12 to 13 kilo bag every day at Spioenkop. So we thought, we were very happy with 10.26, but we at that stage thought that there would be guys with bigger bags.
Yeah, look, I was one of them that said to you, you need to be hitting 11, 12 to be comfortable. But yes, from what we experienced when we were there with our finals, I can show you the pictures on my phone, and I think I still sent it to you guys in terms of what I was sent before we went. And those guys, I think their first day they had a 12 kg bag, and the next day was 13. So, and when it comes to these kind of tournaments, those couple of grams make a big difference. This thing might actually cut us off in 10 minutes, but it's fine. Let's cover what we can. So you get to weigh in day one. And then what happens, Felicity? I know you phoned me and it was much excitement. Around you guys, what's happening? I know what it's like at a normal team tournament trail. It's a lot of gossip and stuff, but obviously you still got day two. So talk us through what happened at weigh-in on day one.
No, we went. We weighed 2 or 3 fish during the day. So we didn't weigh all our fish at the end. But obviously the guys could see the scoreboard, and most of the people that we know all congratulated, and the vibe was quite nice, and so we experienced it to be lucky. And then when I saw the scoreboard, I saw actually, there's another boat close to us, and then from there we were quite far ahead. So I was surprised, but the vibe was good, and everybody congratulations us, and we just had to do well the second day. Fishing this tournament, unfortunately, 2 days.
We also didn't do much. We went straight back to Winterton Country Lodge, where we were staying. I think Etienne and myself, we rigged our rods, and then we watched Indiana Jones. And then we had dinner, and then we went to bed. So we didn't do any planning or prepping or conspiring or nothing. We had a very chilled afternoon.
But I feel like the two of you are like that. You're not like these heavy planner prep kind of people. I can get really caught up in it, especially when you maybe not doing so well and you're trying to gain some momentum. But it's very cool that you just had a chilled evening, and I think it was so smart to sort of stay away from the crowds. All right, so day two, can you guys still hear me? Because you're frozen, so I don't know if you can or can't. Okay, there's a bit of movement.
We lost you there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, so day two, now there is pressure. Now you do have an understanding of where you guys are lying and sort of what the rules are. Talk us through day two.
Yeah, so we went to the same point again, because for some reason all the boats went left again to the river. There was a boat right on our spot on the rock that we were. It was one of our team members. So, we couldn't get close enough to that, but we stayed away. We tried for about half an hour. I could see that the 3 boats there couldn't catch much. So I think we were probably there for about 45 minutes, maybe maximum an hour. And I said to Felicity, if we stay here and they catch a fish or two and they're on the spot, we're going to start panicking. So let's go for our own fish. And then, so we didn't panic. We just decided to go try our spots. And I went to the rocky point, which I told you earlier, where Felicity lost the fish. And 2 of our friends, Ryan Thompson and Ryan, they were standing about 100 meters away from the point. And again, I couldn't understand nobody being on the point. So first cast, Felicity was on with a dredge, a crankbait. And within 5 minutes, basically, we caught 3 fish on that point. And we couldn't believe it, and nor could Ryan and Ryan. So, so we're quite happy there. Then when we had the 3, I tried for another 20 minutes or so, and then I said to Felicity, now it's time for that 3. Let's go to the river. And went straight up to the 3. First was hooked up to a shrub. I thought it was a fish, but I was hung up on a shrub. And the next cast, I was speaking to a friend of mine, asking me, if we need anything or help, because they tried to help, and they said they found 1 or 2 fish. And as I was talking to him, I caught the female. She was 1.7, so exactly on the same place. So it was definitely a nesting fish. And then within the next cast, Felicity dropped the male. I threw back in just on the same place, and we caught the male. It wasn't a very big male, but then we had 5. So, and we weighed the fish there, and they were 5.46, I think, or 5.36. And hearing what the guy's saying all around, and hearing from our own teammates, I said, I think it's enough. I don't know, but I think so. And so we kept on trying, but we couldn't get another fish. I lost another 1 fish, and then later in the afternoon, I lost the absolute monster with a jerkbait. Probably the biggest fish of the whole 2 days. But we didn't need it. We didn't need it, luckily.
We thought that we might need it because we knew the KZN boys were going to chase us. But so we thought that fish might cost us. But one of the most amazing things for us on the war was that all the there's famous anglers in that fished in the nationals, guys that we've heard stories about since we've started. So a lot of those guys stopped next to us, like Darren and Van Heerden and Glenn Hadeda, Glenn and Hadeda, and nobody will ever forget that win of theirs at Albert Falls.
Yeah.
They all stopped at us and they said, when they heard we were 5, when we had 5, Henny Skuman and Rwan, which are, great anglers, they all stopped next to us and said, do you have 5? And they were pumped. They were pumped that we had 5. I mean, they were absolutely thrilled that we actually had 5 fish.
And that was actually nice, to see them support us. They were happy for us.
100%. I think that I don't want to speak for other leagues, but I think it's very easy for people to get caught up in that, that greenfish jealousy. And I know for certain it happens, within other clubs and tournament bodies and those kind of things. But I think when you reach the level that you guys are at and you're sitting at nationals, I mean, it's like you say, Felicity, you're sitting there with like the elite, the people that we hear stories about and that are in the magazines and, are having these kind of conversations. But, I know for a fact that there are a handful of them that will celebrate the win with no matter who it is. And, you know now that Darren van Heerden's my brother-in-law, he's been fishing for over 30 years. And I mean, he's also been at the top of the top and at the bottom of the bottoms. But for me, what I enjoy fishing Team Tournament Trail League is it's like a massive family. Bar the EBAS guys that I've befriended and been friends with. Look at you guys. I mean, Felicity, I reached out to you via because I happened to see another female name on the circuit. And you guys have just been like such phenomenal, never mind anglers, but people. I've reached out to you and you guys have helped me. And that's something I just want to commend you guys on so it's something the two of you have always said, even if I've spoken to you together or separately, you've said, we want to be able to create that transparency for everyone. So everyone gets the chance to have a great day's fishing. So just from my side and having this session and unpacking what went down for you, there aren't a lot of anglers that would happily sit here with me and say, hey, this is exactly what happened. So from my side, thank you very much for that. And I'm quite sure we're going to see this video get quite a bit of traction, especially with the bank anglers. They're just so desperate for this information. I don't want to say information, but almost storytelling. When you're there, like you say, and you hear the anthem and there's 70 plus boats, it just makes your hair stand up and there's no feeling like it. And unless we can share that with them, there are very few bank anglers that might ever get to that point. So just on that, thank you very, very much from my side. And I think the last question that I had is, if there is one tool or lure or whatever it is on your boat that you believe is an absolute game changer and was the biggest, let's say, tool to your success at nationals, what would it be?
Look, it's a bit difficult because the situations always change. But yeah, if I had to choose, I like a jerk. But if I have to choose one, I will choose a fluke, a zoom fluke.
And I will choose a speed crawl.
Okay, fair enough. So at least I've got those two tied on.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the last bit there, Etienne.
The zoom fluke is such a versatile bait. You know, I can use it as a top water. I can use it as a jerk, soft jerk bait. I can slow fish it. I can bounce it on rocks. So yeah, no, if I find myself, I've got a fluke in my head. Yeah.
No, awesome. And I know, Felicity, you and the Speed Core big fans. I think I even sent you a pack with one of the first packages Fishing Fiend sent you. Guys, last question. What is going to make you go back to Team Tournament Trail next year?
Humble beginnings of the LBT, and if you look where we started at our first nationals at Hazehope, and to where we are now, we're super proud to be a part of the LBT. And we love competitive bass fishing. We love seeing all our old friends, you know, Dan, Ryan, Ruan Vallen. It's fun. It's fun. And you know, if you look at how well the LBT guys did this year, we almost got e-bass this year. It was nail biting close. And also another amazing thing, if you look at the SABAA standings, you know, the top boat in the country, the third boat, and the sixth boat, and the 12th boat is LBT boats. And so we're super proud of the LBT team. Super, super, super.
No, listen, you guys have really become, I think, a team that is, as a group, certainly on eBass's tails, and they certainly alert to it, let me put it to you that way. You know, they've obviously been, to an extent, incredibly lucky, and they've obviously worked really hard to maintain their team win. What is it now? 5 years, year on year. But you know, on what was your last day? Saturday. You know, when I spoke to Darren, and he said, "Listen, he thinks we're out by like about 3 points, and you guys are ahead." And I said to him, "You know, you just never know. Maybe there's a small miracle that we would take it." But I was actually, until I was literally watching you guys live, I was convinced that, you know, the win was going to be LBTs rather than eBasses. So that was also a huge turn in events. But I'm not going to keep you guys around much longer. I appreciate you guys sitting here with me and just unpacking how it went. And just again, we are phenomenally proud of you, Felicity. And I had a chat to Wendy Watson from SABAA. She's on the committee, the secretary, and I promise you I'll give you some feedback. So the history that we have so far is that there has been no female in Team Tournament Trails that has been in the winning team or that has received a president's cap on this level within Team Tournament Trails. So that, dude, friend, brew, buddy, all the things that you call me, that is a musha flippant feat. And absolutely take my hat off to you. I know that you are on the water every opportunity that you can get, with small craft and this, and yeah, just to you and Etienne, guys, what a win. And I honestly couldn't give it to someone better deserving than you guys were for that tournament. So yeah, other than that, is there anything you guys want to add?
No, thank you so much, Annie. We really appreciate it. And all the young bass anglers, we just time on the water is the most important thing. And and congratulations to eBass for winning 5 times in a row. Shaw always says, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. So hats off to the eBass team as well. And then and a huge shout out to our fellow anglers at the LBT.
Listen, quickly run me through your... Sorry, go ahead, Etienne.
Thank you very much for you as well. And yeah, it's, you asked earlier why we would go back. If I can just say, like you said, it's like a family. And for us, it's also been a family. We made such phenomenal friends with the eBass guys and with the Natal guys and the Northern League team guys. So yeah, it's nice seeing them and competing. And I think once you've tasted to compete against those guys, it's like a rush of adrenaline. I want to go and try and do it again. Yeah.
No, I'm absolutely sure this isn't going to be the last time we guys are going to see you at this kind of level. And I certainly hope you're gonna carry it through for the next 2023 season. Quickly run me through your sponsors, guys. I know it's Matumi Golf Lodge course. Which one?
Yeah, Matumi Golf Lodge. I own the lodge. So I'm I'm our own sponsor.
You are the sponsor.
I've got two sponsors, Indy. I've got two sponsors. Shaw and Etienne Carey.
Wow, there's more
Shaw
than
and
me.
Etienne Carey. No,
Make
look,
sure you
we
put
don't
it
have
on
any
the shirt,
sponsors. We're not very good at advertising ourselves. So, we're not very good at taking videos of ourselves and posting things and, Etienne sponsors us.
No, listen, it's awesome to see you guys. And I think just touching on the sponsorships, Felicity, even the guys that have got the GoPros, 5 of them on the boat, wearing everything and whatever. Listen, to get a sponsorship in South Africa is very, very hard. And it has always been, and I've never been able to unpack why. But yeah, it's that is like a 12, a 6 kg bass that you're trying to get off the nest. It's so hard to unpack as to why we just don't have a lot more support, much like you guys. A lot of the anglers, their businesses are their sponsors. I think it's just how it is for South Africans at this stage of the game. Hopefully things do grow, and we do get more international exposure. I know there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes of the different committees and that kind of stuff. But hey, at least you guys are on the water, you're fishing, and that's all that matters.
Thank you.
Thanks,
and I just want to say, my friend Andrea. My friend Andrea is my sponsor. Look at my beautiful Fishing Fiend shirt.
Only because you allow it to be. I appreciate you guys very much and the time and just doing this with me. Thank you very, very much.